I am so excited to talk to our next guest. Quickly becoming, I mean, I said this last week, maybe not the nicest person in combat sports. I don't think that's fair. One of the nicest human beings that I've ever come across in life. He is currently the interim WBO heavyweight champion, former WBO heavyweight champion. He walked into Riyadh this past weekend. He did the job. He showed up. It wasn't against the guy that he thought it was going to be against, but you'll recall George Lockhart around a week ago told us that he'd win in 3. Well, it happened in 2, and it was against Martin Bakole, the so-called boogeyman of the heavyweight division. And so now here he is on the cusp of once again becoming heavyweight champion, and he's going to make it happen. He's going to make it happen in 2025. He's the pride of Samoa. He's the pride of New Zealand. He is your champion and mine, and dare I say, he's the uncrowned champion of the heavyweight division in boxing. He's the one and only, the big Oos himself, Joseph Parker. Yeah, there he is.
What an entrance. What an entrance.
You did it, Joe. How are you, my guy? Yeah, you did it.
You know what?
You did it.
It was a nice feeling being able to get a good result after such a crazy, well, it was 48 hours before the fight. From one opponent to the next. And I was very vocal to Spencer and to Andy and to George and to everyone involved that I was ready to fight on fight night. And whoever was in front of me, I backed myself and I would have fought anyone. And I was happy and very grateful for Martin Bakole to accept the fight and come on short notice. But without him, I wouldn't have had a dance partner. So grateful to him and Billy Nelson, and it's nice to get a good result and nice to be back home with the family.
Can I ask you, Joe, when did you start to hear rumblings about this? Because we saw you at the Grand Arrivals. We saw George on Wednesday. He spoke to us about the fight. Everything seemed good. And then Thursday morning here, evening there, we start to get the rumblings that he's ill, and then we get the rumblings of Martin. And so when did you first start to hear that something was amiss?
You know what? We were heading to the press conference.
Yeah.
And Andy was behind me, and all I heard was, "Nah, this is not true. This is not true." I said, "What's wrong, Andy?" And he showed me all these articles at the ring on social media. The ring was posted up about Dubois being ill and possibility of pulling out of the fight. So that was when we first heard about it. Got to the press conference, and then we heard more that it probably won't happen, the fight. And then all these names started coming on board of who we can have as a replacement. There was Bakole, there was Bakole, there was Joe Joyce, and there was a few other names. And one thing I said to Spencer was, give me Bakole, because that's the fight that gets me amped up and gets me excited about still being involved in this big event that happened on 22nd of February.
So what's interesting about it all, till now, Joseph, we have not heard anything from Daniel Dubois. We haven't seen an interview, a statement, or anything like that. I have to say, I'm not trying to say that he was like pulling out, but like it feels a little bit weird. In the aftermath now, how do you feel about how all this went down?
It does feel a bit weird. It feels weird because he was at the public workout, and then just like that, he got real ill, and there was no real statement. There's no real proof or doctors. There's nothing. There's nothing there. Like you said, there's nothing that's come out, and even after the fight, nothing's come out. So it feels a bit weird. And it feels a bit strange that during that time that Usyk started calling out Dubois saying he wants him next. So I'm not saying it's he wasn't ill or he was ill. I'm just saying I'm not sure what's happening.
What do you think? What do you think went down?
Well, we haven't heard anything back yet. So, and they're talking about Dubois and Usyk having a fight. So there's a possibility that it could be they're trying to line that fight up. Was he sick? I have no idea, and I don't want to go into it because I might say something wrong, or I might say something that he probably was sick, probably wasn't sick. I'm just not sure,
Sure. Is it possible that Usyk's there, Dubois is there? They say, okay, we got this fight. We don't want to take the risk against someone like you, who was, en route to potentially beating him. We don't want to screw up the plans, so let's do this. Let's call him Bakole. Everyone wins, and we call it a day. Is that possible? Could that have happened 2 days before?
I think there's so many possibilities. But until we hear from him, and until we hear from the team, and until we know what actually happened with him, then there's always going to be speculation about what happened and what is going to happen.
I heard an interview with your head coach, Andy Lee. He was on a podcast, a great podcast called Second Captains, and he was saying that he felt like you guys called their bluff, that they didn't think that you would accept Martin Bakole. Do you feel the same way?
I feel the same way. I feel like with Martin, he's the boogeyman, and I know he didn't get the best notice, but he did take the fight, and he did actually believe that he was going to come in there and knock me out. So we did, we called like Andy said, we did call their bluff and accepted the fight, and I was really looking forward to it. When I heard that was Martin Bakole that was locked in for me, I was like, yes, like I have a fight. I'm fighting one of the best fighters out there, and I know he didn't have the best prep, but he came with the belief that he was going to win and knock me out.
Is it true that Spencer Brown, who you referenced earlier, advised you actually not to take the fight? Is that accurate?
Spencer Brown said, "Are you sure you want this fight? Is this the like?" I'm talking about a Coley. I said, "Spencer, I want Bakole. Bakole's the one that's going to get me excited. Like, I know Coley was a champion as well, but the name Bakole just got me real excited about still being involved and still fighting and still like I was just so focused on this fight day that I wanted someone to dance with and someone at the top level."
Was there any part of you that considered for a moment not fighting? Risk isn't worth
No,
it? No, nothing.
no, I just said, guys, please do whatever needs to be done to get me a fight. Like I am ready. I've been training for the last 10 weeks. I've been training since April last year, and I had a boxing camp, a great camp. Please get me any fight, anyone, anytime.
And so, when you come to the realization that it is going to be Martin Bakole, and then you see this footage of him flying, and then you find out that he lands at 2:30 in the morning, and he weighs 315 pounds. In the end, what did you make of the guy that showed up in front of you? Some people have suggested he just came to get a payday and try to, not really engage in a fight. How do you feel about the opponent that showed up in front of you on Saturday?
I feel that Martin Bakole came with the utmost belief that he was going to beat me. He's, even though he wasn't, in the full camp, like he believed, like we had sparring sessions together, so he fully believed he was going to knock me out. And just because that punch landed on the top of his head, like it could have went a different way. Imagine we're sitting here talking like he won the fight, or
Mm.
imagine he's sitting here talking like it was a longer fight than what actually went down. It would be a different conversation altogether. But he did believe that he was going to knock me out, and he's a great fighter, Martin Bakole. He's very he's got great timing, and some of the punches he landed did hurt, and it still hurts now.
Really? Wow. So were
He
you?
caught me with a beautiful uppercut when I came in the first round, and just I went back to the corner and I was like, "Oh, Andy, just please get this sorted."
When's the last time you sparred him?
I sparred him back in 2022 when we were training with Tyson Fury in Morecambe Bay,
Mm.
and Tyson was preparing for Dillian White.
Okay.
And even back then, he was a beast. He's a beast now still, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. He's still got a fight locked in with F.A. Jagbar, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in that fight coming up.
Actually, I just saw this morning that the IBF is now removing him from that final eliminator status. So it seems like he's off the card.
Wow. Okay, I had no idea. I thought he was still
Just
okay.
this morning.
Wow.
And I know it's morning over there, so you may have missed it, but it seems like he wanted to, stay on that May 2nd date and fight in the final eliminator, but it sounds like now it's not going to happen. I did see an interview with you afterwards with IFL TV, and you're speaking to your family, and you're very emotional. You're talking to them on FaceTime on your phone. Those emotions, seeing you cry like that, where is that coming from? Why are you feeling that way in the immediate aftermath? Can you take us in?
Because when you have a fight like that and all these things happen, like I said, 48 hours, the opponent pulls out, another opponent pulls, like comes steps in, and I'm so focused on the fight that I've been away for a while. I've been away for a long time, and I do miss out on special occasions and seeing my kids grow up. And when a fight's done, all these emotions come in, not straight away, but when I see them on the phone and they're all happy and cheering and excited to see me when I come back home, all those emotions start coming into play, and I just feel like it's all worth it.
Mm.
Everything that I've done leading up to this point or after the fight, it's all worth it. Myself and the whole team. It takes a massive team to get me to be the best that I can be.
You do your camps, the majority of them now in Ireland with Andy Lee. Any discussion of him coming to you so that you don't have to leave your family for so long?
I've had the opportunity, like boxing's looked after me very well, and I had been able to take the family up to Ireland. And even though it does break up the camp, even 4, 5, 6 weeks away is a long time. So we have talked about it, but the only thing about New Zealand is quite hard to bring in sparring partners. when you find the best sparring partners in America and Europe and on those sides of the world. So it's a bit far away here in New Zealand, but I'm sure we can make it work one day in the future.
Okay. So now this is the big question, Joe, because I got a lot of stick, I must say. I'm your biggest cheerleader over here, and I'm saying we need to see now Parker versus Usyk. This is the fight that hasn't happened yet. It's fresh. You showed up. You did the job. You're on this roll. It has to be you. And then I got people saying, nah, Dubois is the IBF champ. I say, so what? Who cares? What does it matter? He didn't show up. He didn't fight. Why should he leapfrog Joe? And then I hear people saying, Caballel, oh, he beat Zhang. I say, so what? Parker beat Zhang a year ago. Well, what are we talking about here? And so I feel like they're trying to screw you here. Am I wrong? Am I getting too sensitive?
No, you're right. It does feel like that way. It feels like we're so closely fighting for a title, then all of a sudden he got sick, and now they're lining up this big fight with Usyk and Dubois. And I'm not sure what we need to do in order to lock in a championship of the world fight. I think we've done everything asked of, and hopefully we can lock it in soon. Like I would love the opportunity just to test myself against Usyk. Usyk is a great fighter, and I'd love to see what I'm capable of doing against someone like that.
Hey there, sorry to interrupt. Just want to remind you, if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it very much. And while you're at it, give us a thumbs up too. We've got live shows, interviews, clips, and a whole lot more going on this here channel. All right, now back to the show. I feel like this is a silly question, but just for the record, if it was up to you, who would you fight next?
Usyk.
And how confident? Go ahead.
If I could fight someone, it'll be Usyk, because Dubois, we did have that fight locked in, and he pulled out, still with no explanation. But any of those two would be amazing.
Okay, and how confident are you right now? I know it's still, just a couple of days removed, that happens for you next, that he is next for you, Usyk.
Not too confident. I'm not too confident that'll be next. That'll be the best if it did happen. But as you know, boxing, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that we don't really know of, or that we don't really hear of. And there's things always being lined up, but I'm not too sure that'll happen next.
All right, so realistically then, if it's not Usyk, and that's obviously goal number one, who do you think might be next?
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea who would be next. But I would fight anyone and everyone to get my chance to fight for the championship of the world. So I'm not too sure.
What annoys me about this is that if it's not Usyk, that means he's probably fighting Dubois. So you're getting screwed both ways here. You're not fighting Usyk, the guy that you want to fight. You're not fighting the guy that you were supposed to fight. I feel like the only consolation prize, if you're not fighting one of those two guys, because I would rank him as Usyk and then you getting your quote-unquote revenge against Dubois, the only consolation prize would be a rematch against AJ. Anything else is not fair.
What can we do? What should we do in this kind of situation? Do we sit it out and wait for the winner of that fight, or do we keep busy and keep progressing and keep fighting other top fighters?
Well, if you're asking me, your special counsel, your advisor, I appreciate you asking me. I think if we're not getting Usyk and we're not getting Dubois because they're going to go off and fight each other, we got to get the rematch against AJ. That's the one. Who's he going to fight?
Yeah.
We're not fighting Caballel. We just beat the guy that Caballel beat. We beat him a year ago. And I say we. So he's great. And he deserves a lot of respect, and I have the utmost respect for him. He's tremendous. But no, to me, it's Usyk, Dubois, or AJ. Those are the options right now. No one else. You've done enough, in my opinion. What do you think of that?
Push for it. No, I agree. And like you said, Caballel is a tremendous fighter, and I'm not sure what he's going to do next. But as we focus on myself and my career, I think those three names will be the next in line.
Did you see AJ at the fight before or after?
I saw him at the fight. I didn't see him before or after, but I did see him watching all the fights, and I saw a few of his interviews that he did. Now, I think he must have mentioned something that he's injured, but he would have loved to step in and fight me when the opponent was changing.
Yes, I did hear him say that. I was just wondering if you had any interactions with him, if you think he would accept the fight against you.
I think he would. As a fighter, we back ourselves 100%, anytime, anywhere, any place, against anyone. I think he would, accept the fight with me, but it'll be a very different fight to the fight that we had in 2018. Obviously, we're both different fighters now, and both more mature and older and wiser, I think. But I feel like the fighter that I was there, the fighter that I was before, sometimes I look back and go, who is that guy?
Wow.
Who is that guy?
Completely different person.
Way different. just it's not really it's a massive like the comparison to myself back then and now. It's like I said, sometimes I look back and go, who is that person?
What's the biggest difference? Can you pinpoint something?
Yeah,
Oh, do we lose you? Do you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
I said, what's the biggest difference or two? Can you pinpoint a thing or two that's
The biggest difference now is that I actually love what I do. I wake up every day looking forward to training. I wake up every day looking forward to eating the right food. To like I have the best balance in life in terms of family time, training time, rest time, and the nutrition. And when you understand what you're doing and you enjoy it, it makes everything much more better. And I'm a lot more mature now. And I do look after myself and look after my body, and I live the life, not like I used to, not like I used to before.
you didn't love it back then?
I did. I did love it, but it came to a point where I was just doing it because I was just doing it.
Mm.
Whereas now, like, there's the biggest difference. I wake up and I go, I can't wait to go and train.
Wow.
I can't wait to go put my body through this hard work, and I can't wait to progress and grow and be better every day. Whereas back then, it's like, here we go again, another session. Let's go. Let's get it done.
And what usually when that fire kind of dims out, it's hard to get it back. How do you get it back?
When you find what works for you. I found Andy Lee and George Lockhart, and I actually understand every day what I'm doing, and there's a purpose behind the training, the purpose behind the food, there's a purpose behind everything that we do. And when you understand that, and when you have the purpose, then you start to enjoy it a lot more.
By the way, last week George told us about one of the first times that he worked with you. He said that you couldn't pick up like a 20 kg dumbbell. Is that true? Like you can hardly pick up anything? How's that possible?
George thought that I was joking around. Like I did train, but I probably didn't do the right training. And when we started working together and doing weights, he was really shocked and surprised with the little weights that I was lifting.
That is unbelievable. How's that possible? You're such a big guy. Like you must have been like 260 pounds or something.
I was whatever I was, but I wasn't able to lift those heavy weights. Now I've tripled the weights that I can lift. But it all, like, again, there's different phases that you have in camp and outside of camp. There's the building phase, there's endurance phase, there's speed phase, there's power phases, all these different phases that I never really knew existed until we started working together.
It must feel like it's all coming together for you now. All the stars are aligning. You're so close. You're on the cusp of greatness, and I love it. It feels like you have the right people around you, the right team around you. I love. We talked about it last time. Love what you're doing on YouTube. The video blogs are amazing. The page is tremendous. I urge anyone out there who's putting this all together in real time. Like you're getting a video up there about the opponent switch like 5 hours later. It's unbelievable. Who's doing this? Working the midnight hours.
There's a guy here that I work with closely since 2010. His name is Kerry Russell, and he is a magician in terms of doing these videos, capturing it, editing it, putting it all together, and then uploading it on YouTube. So without him, people wouldn't be able to see what we go through day in and day out, and the things that do happen, like the opponent change and the fight being locked in with someone else.
I love the stuff. It's riveting. But if you actually scroll down the page a little bit, there's a couple of stuff that may be a surprise to the viewers out there. And I didn't, because you don't really I don't really see you promoting it so much. But it's a series of videos. Joseph Parker kind of reenacting famous comedic scenes, like you reenacting. There's like Anchorman, there's Step Brothers, you as McLovin. What is going on here, Joseph? Well, look at this. Who's doing this stuff? Who's putting this together?
More than anything in the world.
Jerry Russell. He is the person that comes up with all the ideas. And he says to me, do you want to try this? I said, yeah, sure, let's try it. And the next thing, we have a video online.
You're actually doing all this. This is amazing stuff.
It just gives you a bit of insight into what actors go through, and the hard work that they have to put into learning lines and and doing it in front of camera.
This is not AI, right? This is really you?
This is me, yeah.
This might be my favorite one. The McLovin one might have been my favorite one. I didn't know you had these kind of comedic chops.
He's on the 17th green.
Essentially, you'll try anything and try everything, and I think it's just fun. It's fun to do all these things when you're not boxing, when you're not training, when you're not having family time. Try everything.
Sure. I like it. You're letting us into your personality. You're showing different sides of yourself. Like I said, it's all coming together, Joe. I feel like we're right there. We're on the cusp. We're right there, like this close.
So close. We're so close. We're nearly there. And you know what? I just thank God for all these opportunities that I keep getting, and for all these great results.
What happens if they call you up and say, hey, Dubois, we want you to fight Caballel? What's the answer?
I would fight anyone.
Oh, really? I wanted
I'll
you to
fight
say...
anyone, but
Okay,
like we just spoke about, there's 3 names that we are chasing.
Yeah.
And it's up to Spencer Brown, David Higgins, Andy Lee. It's up to them, George, to make this happen. What we've just spoken about.
By the way, in that Happy Gilmore clip, you're wearing a Canadian hockey jersey. Are you wearing that because of me, the Canadian News?
Yes, exactly.
You wore that for me, right?
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you. That means a lot. How do they get 2 of you there? How does that happen?
He puts a camera there, right?
Yeah.
And he films, and then I have to do one part, then I have to do another part, then he does a split screen.
What? Really? This guy's a genius.
Yeah. He's a genius. Like, even if the Anchorman one, we're doing 4, like there's 4 of me, I had to shave in between, but I did this one first. And
Stop
this one,
it.
And this one, and so.
I can't tell if you're messing with me or not, really.
No, serious, yeah. Promise. But the camera has to stick there, and you can't move this camera. You move it, then you can't do the video.
I love it. I love that dedication. When you got home, you're back home now, right, with the family?
I'm back home with the family.
Did you have the bread with the sprinkles and all that? Did you have that?
My family had a list of foods that I wanted to eat when I got home. They made me Oreo balls. They got me sashimi, salmon. They got me kina. They got me taro. They got me mince pies, bacon and egg pies. And you know what? I demolished it all.
Yes.
As soon as I arrived.
In one sitting.
So right now I'm 275. Nah, sorry.
Don't tell that to George. He'll get you on that. The Manuka honey. I tried some of that Manuka honey that was on your shorts. That stuff. It's potent. It's
potent, and there's a lot of, like, George can explain more, but there's a lot of great things that it does for your body.
I love it. I love it, Joe. And one last thing I wanted to ask you about. Did you see this clip? It's been circulating today. A fellow, I guess you could say Kiwi, Jai Opataya. We love MMA around here too. Did you know that he had kicks like this, Jai? Look at these kicks from Jai.
No, I didn't. I saw that this morning, and I thought to myself, you know what? Jai is a beast.
Yes. Look at this guy. Did you know you could do this?
Would try, I didn't know you could do this, but he doesn't look too bad at all.
Yeah.
I think he might have, I'm not sure what he's working on, but he can have a future in terms of whether it's MMA or whether it's, I don't even know if he can grapple, but
kickboxing.
Kickboxing. If you wanted to give that a go, he can become champion in whatever he does.
Well, as can you.
One thing.
Yes.
One thing that he can't beat me at is fishing.
Oh.
And eating the fish. But anything else, I'm sure it'll be a great challenge.
You've had a competition?
No, we are. We're going to have a competition soon. He thinks he's the better fisherman, but I know I'm the better fisherman.
Oh,
so
wow.
There's a difference there.
Biggest fish you've caught?
A big 2-meter shark, 2.5 meter shark. Sharks.
Really?
A lot of sharks here in New Zealand.
And what'd you do with it?
I ate it.
You ate the shark?
You know what they make fish and chips using shark.
What the hell? You eat the shark? I didn't. You made it yourself, or did you give it to someone to make it?
I gave it to someone to make. Yeah, I still need to learn how to cook.
Okay, all right. We'll get there. For now, you're just a tremendous fighter, and better yet, a tremendous human being. What a pleasure. So happy for you, Joseph. So happy for you and the team. You went out there. You put your head down. You said, "Give me the toughest guy. Give me the guy that no one wants to fight. I'll dust them off in 2 rounds." You did just that, and I hope they don't screw you. And if you need me to get involved in any of the negotiations, you need me to put my foot down, I don't know whose side Spencer's on, all right? I don't know whose side he's on. You know whose side I'm on, all right? We all know whose side I'm on. So if you need me to get involved, just tag me in. I'll help you out. Free, no percentage, no nothing, on the house.
Thank you, Uso. Thank you, Uso.
The Big Goose. Thank you, Joe. All the best to you. Congratulations. Enjoy the time with the family.
Thank you, brother.
There he is, the great Joseph Parker. What a guy. Some guy, that Joseph Parker. You didn't know that he could act like that. You guys had no idea. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.